They say getting older is inevitable, but losing your erections? That's a bloody choice, mate. Because there's one simple food, yeah, just one, that can give you erections so firm, so full, and so long-lasting that you'll be wondering why no doctors ever told you about it before. It's not some exotic fruit or an expensive pill from the chemist. It's a food that's hiding in plain sight at your local Woolies or Kohl's. And trust me when I tell you, for blokes over 60, it can be like flicking a switch back on, waking up a part of you that's been asleep for years. My name's Dr. Claire Hudson. I'm a specialist in men's health with over 25 years of experience helping older Australian men reclaim their vitality without relying on prescription medications. And what I've discovered through research and real results is that your body still remembers how to function. It just needs the right signal. What surprises most of my patients is that it's not age that causes weak erections, it's poor circulation. And there's one food that naturally restores blood flow to your penis better than most medications. It's safe, it's proven, and it works in as little as 7 days. In a few moments, I'm going to reveal what this food is, how to use it, and what deadly habits might be canceling out its benefits. So stick with me because what you're about to hear could change everything for your health, your confidence, and your performance starting tonight. I can't tell you how many blokes have sat across from me in my clinic in Sydney, eyes down, voice quiet, asking the same painful question. Doc, is this just part of getting old? And every single time, I look them straight in the eye and say, no, mate. It's not your age, it's your blood flow. Erections don't just depend on testosterone, they depend on circulation. When you're young, your blood vessels are wide, elastic, and clean. Blood flows easily, filling the penis and creating those strong, spontaneous erections you used to take for granted. But over time, without any warning, those same vessels start to narrow. Plaque builds up, inflammation appears, and suddenly you find yourself struggling. It might start slowly with fewer morning erections, softer performance, or longer recovery time, until one day you realize it's just not working like it used to. What most men don't know is that the arteries supplying blood to your penis are some of the smallest in your entire body. They're like the canary in the coal mine. If they're blocked, it's not just your sex life at risk. It's a warning sign for your heart, your brain, and your entire vascular system. I've had patients come in with a medicine cabinet full of pills, Viagra, Cialis, herbal blends, testosterone injections, desperate for something to bring back their sex life. And I always ask them the same question. Did anyone ever explain to you why those pills stopped working? The room usually goes quiet, because the truth is, no one explained it. They were given a prescription, not a plan. Pills like Viagra don't create erections, they just enhance a process that should already be working. Think of it this way, they open the garage door, but if there's no car inside, you're not going anywhere. If your blood vessels are clogged, if nitric oxide is low, if circulation is poor, no pill can force blood to go where it can't flow. That's why so many men say it worked great at first, but now nothing. Before I go further, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your city or state in the comments so I can give you a shout out in our next videos, because this channel grows thanks to Aussie blokes like you, who are looking for real solutions to their health. I'll never forget the first time I recommended beetroot to a patient for erectile health. He looked at me like I'd lost the plot, asking if that purple stuff his missus puts in salads would actually work. And I smiled because yes, mate, that exact purple stuff holds an incredible secret that most men will never hear from their regular GP. Beetroot is one of nature's most powerful nitric oxide boosters. And nitric oxide is the exact chemical your body relies on to relax blood vessels and allow more blood to flow, especially to your penis. When nitric oxide levels are low, blood flow slows down, erections become weaker, or they don't happen at all. But when you restore nitric oxide naturally, it's like opening a dam. Suddenly blood flows where it's supposed to go, and the results are dramatic. What makes beetroot so effective is that it's packed with dietary nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide, especially when combined with the right bacteria in your mouth and gut. In studies, men over 60 who consumed beetroot juice saw remarkable improvements in blood pressure, circulation, and yes, erectile quality in just days. No side effects, no prescriptions, just real natural support for a system that's been quietly starving for better flow. Beetroot is different because it doesn't override your body. It supports it. It feeds the system. It restores function from the inside out. Instead of trying to flip a broken switch, it reconnects the electricity behind the wall. That's why it works even when the little blue pill alone doesn't. Let me tell you about Greg, one of my favorite patients. He was 67 when he walked into my clinic in Melbourne. A quiet bloke, well-kept, polite, but there was something in his eyes I've seen too many times before. Disappointment, maybe even shame. After a long pause, he finally spoke, saying he didn't feel like himself anymore, that he still loved his partner, but was avoiding intimacy because he couldn't face another failure. He wasn't alone. I've had that conversation hundreds of times, and it never gets easier because it's never just about sex. It's about identity, pride, that quiet confidence that makes a man feel like a man. Greg had tried the pills. They worked for a while, then they didn't. He said it felt like he was chasing something that kept moving further away. So we started from the inside out. I introduced him to beetroot, explained how nitric oxide works, and helped him fix some small but critical habits that were interfering with his results. Now, here's the part most men don't see coming. You can be doing everything right, eating beetroot daily, staying active, trying to live clean, and still feel like nothing's improving. That's exactly what happened to Greg at first. He followed my instructions to the letter, but after 10 days he came back frustrated, saying he felt a bit better, but not much. That's when I asked him some simple questions and discovered the 3 hidden habits that were blocking his progress. The first was mouthwash. Greg was using it every morning religiously, but what he didn't know is that most commercial mouthwashes kill the bacteria in your mouth that help convert nitrates from beetroot into nitric oxide. Without those bacteria, the whole process stops dead. I asked him to switch to warm salt water or a natural rinse, and within a week, things changed dramatically. The second was his low-fat diet. He'd been avoiding fats for years, thinking it was good for his heart, but healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, and omega-3 seconds are essential for testosterone production. Without enough of them, even perfect circulation won't wake up real desire. The third habit was sitting too much. Greg spent hours at a desk without moving. That kind of inactivity restricts blood flow to the pelvis, quietly strangling everything we were trying to fix. I got him walking just 15 minutes each morning and standing more during the day, and it made a massive difference. Now, I know a lot of you watching are thinking, but Doc, I've got diabetes. Can I still use beetroot? This is probably the most common question I get, and it's fair dinkum important. So let me address it properly. If you've got diabetes, whether type 1 or type 2, whether you're well controlled or still working on it, you absolutely can benefit from beetroot. But you need to do it smart. Yes, beetroot contains natural sugars, but it also has a low to moderate glycemic index, which means it doesn't spike your blood sugar the way processed foods do. The key is portion control and timing. For diabetics, I recommend starting with smaller amounts, about 60 to 90 ml of fresh beetroot juice, rather than the full 120 to 180 ml. Have it with a meal that includes protein and healthy fats to slow down sugar absorption. Monitor your blood sugar before and after for the first few days to see how your body responds. Most of my diabetic patients have seen improvements not just in erectile function but also in blood sugar control because beetroot supports overall vascular health. If you're on metformin or other diabetes medications, beetroot can work alongside them beautifully. In fact, some studies suggest that the nitrates in beetroot may improve insulin sensitivity. But here's the golden rule. Always chat with your GP or endocrinologist before making any major dietary changes, especially if your diabetes isn't well controlled yet. Another question I get all the time is about blood pressure. Blokes ask me, "Doc, I'm on blood pressure medication. Is beetroot safe for me?" And the answer is yes, but with a caveat. Beetroot actually lowers blood pressure, which is generally a good thing. It relaxes your blood vessels, improves circulation, and reduces the strain on your heart. But if you're already on blood pressure medication, beetroot can have an additive effect, meaning your blood pressure might drop lower than expected. This isn't necessarily dangerous, but it can make you feel lightheaded or dizzy, especially when you first start. My advice? Start with a smaller dose, about 60 ml of juice, and monitor your blood pressure daily for the first week. If you notice your readings dropping too low, or if you're feeling dizzy, have a chat with your doctor about potentially adjusting your medication. Many of my patients have actually been able to reduce their blood pressure medication over time because beetroot, combined with lifestyle changes, improved their cardiovascular health so much. But never, and I mean never, stop or change your medication without medical supervision. Your heart health is too important to muck around with. Let me ask you something so I can create better content for you guys. What worries you most? Drop a 1 in the comments if it's weak erections, or a 2 if it's lack of energy during the day. Your response helps me understand what topics matter most to our community. When I first started recommending beetroot to my older patients, most assumed it was just about eating more veggies. But this isn't about salads. It's about precision. Knowing exactly how, when, and how much to use it to get real results in the bedroom. One of my patients, Bruce, 72 years old from Brisbane, had nearly given up. He wasn't depressed, just resigned. I could hear it in his voice when he said he wasn't looking to feel like he was 25 again. He just wanted to feel like a man. I put him on a simple beetroot protocol, nothing fancy, just a few ounces of fresh beetroot juice every morning, along with a pinch of sea salt and leafy greens. Within a week, he told me his energy felt different. 2 weeks later, he noticed stronger morning erections. By the end of the month, he was smiling again. If you're going to use beetroot, here's how to do it right. Drink about 120 to 180 ml of fresh beetroot juice daily, ideally 1 to 2 hours before activity. Or eat half a cup of roasted or steamed beetroot alongside a meal rich in natural fats. Even beetroot powder mixed into a smoothie works well, but don't overcook it, because high heat kills the compounds that make it effective. And combine it with nitrate-rich foods like spinach or rocket for an even bigger boost. Now, here's what a lot of blokes miss. You can eat beetroot every single day, but if you're doing certain things wrong, you're sabotaging your own results. Let me break down the 3 biggest mistakes I see. First, using antibacterial mouthwash. I've mentioned this with Greg, but it's worth repeating because it's such a common problem. Your mouth bacteria are critical for converting nitrates into nitric oxide. Kill those bacteria with harsh mouthwash, and you've just cut the power to the whole system. Switch to natural alternatives, or just water. Second, eating a low-fat diet. I know it sounds counterintuitive because we've been told for decades that fat is bad, but healthy fats are essential for hormone production, especially testosterone. Without adequate healthy fats from sources like olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish, your testosterone levels will tank, and no amount of blood flow will create genuine desire or strong erections. Your body needs fat to make hormones. It's not optional. Third, sitting for hours without moving. This is huge, especially for blokes who work office jobs or are retired and spend a lot of time in front of the telly. When you sit for extended periods, you restrict blood flow to your pelvis and lower body. It's like putting a kink in a garden hose. The water can't flow properly. Even if you're doing everything else right, excessive sitting will quietly undo your progress. The solution? Get up and move every 30 to 45 minutes. Take a short walk, do some light stretches. Even just standing up and walking around the house for a few minutes makes a difference. Sometimes, when a bloke finally starts to feel the change, when blood flow improves, when mornings feel different, when confidence quietly returns, he asks me if there's anything else he can do to keep this going. And my answer is always yes, because beetroot is powerful. But when you combine it with the right daily habits, the results can go from good to remarkable. One of the most underrated tools is movement. Not intense workouts or heavy lifting, Just simple, regular movement. A 20-minute walk every morning, some squats during the ad breaks, light stretches before bed. Movement activates circulation, boosts nitric oxide, and sends oxygen right where you need it. Sleep is another essential piece because your body produces most of its testosterone during deep sleep. Miss that window night after night, and your hormone levels drop no matter how clean your diet is. And then there's stress. Emotional stress, financial stress, even quiet worries raise cortisol, which fights against your testosterone and constricts your blood vessels. You don't have to live like a monk, but taking a few quiet minutes each day, whether it's calm breathing, sitting in the sun, or just doing something you enjoy, can work wonders. After all these years treating men from all walks of life, executives, tradies, teachers, husbands, grandfathers, I can tell you this. The loss of strong erections isn't just physical. It affects how you see yourself as a man. I've sat with men who were confident on the outside, but struggling silently on the inside, wondering if their best days were behind them. And I've also seen what happens when we remind the body of what it's still capable of with the right support. You've learned today that it's not age that robs your erections. It's the slow loss of blood flow, the drop in nitric oxide, and the buildup of habits we barely notice. But you've also learned that something as simple as beetroot, yes, that humble root vegetable, can trigger a powerful change when used correctly. What matters most isn't the science or the strategy. It's the belief that you're not finished yet, that there's more in you, more strength, more intimacy, more life. You don't need to accept decline as your destiny. With small, intentional changes, you can take back control of your body, your confidence, and your relationships. So wherever you are in your journey, remember this. Your body hasn't given up on you, and neither have I. You still have time. You still have power. Now's the time to use it. If this video's been helpful to you, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. This helps more blokes like you discover information that can change their lives. Share it with a mate, a brother, or anyone who might need it. And don't forget to leave a comment below, whether it's a question, a success story, or just a thanks. I read every single one. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss honest, expert-backed content for men over 60. Thanks for being here, folks. Your health matters.